All right, starting us off is the banking industry. Now, ABSA Bank has set out to double its 60 billion green finance facility to over 120 billion in the next 3 years. According to ABSA CEO Abdi Mohammed, the bank will be seeking more opportunities to invest, especially in sectors such as energy. And he was speaking during the launch of the bank sustainability report. Let's now cross over to Arboretum, where Jimmy Mbogo is following up on this report. Good afternoon, Jimmy. What's the latest from that end?
All right, thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to you too. Yes, as you rightly said, this was the sustainability report that was being released today by ABSA Bank. This is for the year ending 2022 December. And of course, you're thinking, how can you, as Noah Kipkemboi, reduce your carbon footprint? I will tell you what I will be doing. So I have a pencil here that later on, once I'm done using it, one of the things I will be doing, it has a number of seeds that I'm going to plant later on, and also just to try and make sure that I'm part of the journey. But of course, you're asking yourself, what is ABSA Bank doing as an institution? And I'll just take you through some of the big numbers from their portfolio. About 20% of their that is their loan portfolio goes towards sustainable financing. And if you're asking yourself, how much is that 20%? It's about 60 billion shillings. And of course, right now I'm joined by Abdi Mohammed, who is the CEO of ABSA. Well, Abdi, thank you so much for making time to speak to us.
Thank you, Jimmy. Very nice to meet you.
All right. So one of the things that we want you to help us understand is the fact that as an institution, how then are you making sure that you incorporate ESG, particularly on the financing offerings that you currently have?
Thank you. As you know, Jimmy, ESG and the sustainability initiatives in general are a very, very important part of business strategy going forward. In Kenya, there is also a lot of regulatory interest, and the regulator, the central bank, has taken a lead in terms of providing climate finance, guidelines, and is a big supporter in terms of just overall sustainability agenda. And so today we are here as ABSA Bank Kenya launching our sustainability report, which is in effect a report card of the last 1 year, the objectives that we set for ourselves around sustainability and what we have done around those objectives.
All right, so one of the biggest concerns, particularly for financial institutions such as yourself, is because, again, green financing is still a very new concept. So there's the question of risk, and how then do you mitigate against some of these risks, particularly in as far as financing some of these green projects?
Jimmy, the subject of sustainable financing is a very, very important subject and will continue to be important going forward. And the clue really is in the word sustainable. It's about ensuring that as we finance new projects, new initiatives, that they meet the sustainability requirements. It's actually both good from a business perspective when you're looking at the long-term objectives of what we want to achieve. Just to give you an example, the green buildings, whether they are residential or office buildings, in the long term generally tend to be cheaper and lower cost to maintain and operate than buildings that do not meet green requirements. So in the long term, it makes sense. But of course, as we make the transition, organizations need to take that step. There is a lot of awareness work that needs to be done. There is partnership that is required between different parties to ensure that the overall sustainability agenda is achieved. All
right, so during the presentation, one of the things that came about is the fact that now, even for you as a bank, is the fact that you're engaging clients and or suppliers rather, and making sure that these suppliers that you engage are also in line with your sustainability requirement. Why is this important for you as an institution?
It's important to us because, as you know, as a large financial institution, we have a lot of influence in the economy through our financing activities, through the partnerships that we run. And therefore, when we look at the sustainability agenda and what we intend to achieve as an organization, we believe that what we achieve as ABSA is important, but what we achieve together with all the partners that we work with is equally important across all the pillars that we have set for ourselves, climate finance being one of the key ones, but there is financial inclusion and ensuring that we are including more people into the financial sector in our country. There is a lot of internal metrics that we look at, for example, the gender balance in our company, where we have already achieved a 50-50 gender balance between male and female. But even in the leadership and board levels, we are now approaching 46-54. Which is a very, very good statistic, and it's something that we are very proud of.
All right, let's talk numbers now. You're talking about a loan book of about 60 billion shillings at the moment, and you're looking at doubling this in the next 3 years. Now, are there specific areas that you're looking at? And also, maybe you can talk us through the return on investment for some of these green projects or green facilities that you've issued.
So yes, we are currently at 60 billion this year alone in terms of money that has been disbursed, in sustainable finance. Our ambition is to double that number over the 3-year period, and that you will see coming through. In terms of sectors, it's across multiple sectors in the economy. So when you look at agriculture, for example, we work with large plantations, smaller, farms and agricultural outfits, and many other businesses in agric across the value chain. We also look at, energy and the energy sector, clean energy being a very good area of focus that we are focusing on. We look at manufacturing, and ensuring that there are sustainable practices within manufacturing as well. So it's across a number of sectors.
Looking at your loan book, currently you're saying it's about sustainable finance contributes about 20% or accounts for about 20% of your loan book. Looking into the next 3 years, into the next 5 years, where do you see sustainable finance, or what percentage of your loan book portfolio do you see sustainable finance accounting for?
We see this becoming increasingly a more and more prominent part of the loan book. So if you go back a few years, these numbers were in the single digit. In many cases, they were not even being measured. Availability of data was an issue. The regulatory framework was an issue. But today we've made a lot of progress. And you will see as we move forward that it becomes an increasing component of the bank's loan book rather than a reducing one.
All right, Abdi, thank you so much for making time to speak to us. And of course, Noah, there you have it, and we'll be giving you more details, just particularly looking at this report and some of the highlights that are contained in this report. But again, back to that question, what are you, as Noah Kipkemboi, doing to make sure that you reduce your carbon footprint? For now, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. That's a very good question.